My best friend and I were trapped by a system, forced to seduce the cruel male leads of a novel. My assigned target, Kevin Bright, recoiled from every attempt at affection, spitting names like deranged stray and filthy pest at me. Her target, Marcus Blackwood, treated her as a disposable outlet for his frustration, so cold he didn't even pick up her final, desperate call. We reached our limit. One game of rock, paper, scissors, and 2 staged deaths later, we escaped, back in our real lives. But now, they've followed us across worlds, wearing the masks of heartbroken men who claim they want redemption. Do they really think regret is enough to buy our forgiveness? The system had shackled us together, turning us into unwilling seductresses in a fabricated universe. Her assignment, Marcus Blackwood, a fortress of a man. Her mission, capture his body. Mine, Kevin Bright, my aloof, self-appointed guardian. My mission, splinter his heart. But Marcus lived like a monk, untouchable, immune to any kind of intimacy. And Kevin, still pining for an old lover, had never once looked at me as anything but a child during the 3 years we'd shared a home. We were suffocating. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm done, I texted her. I'm tapping out. You? If you're out, I'm out, she replied without hesitation. And just like that, a pact. We both grabbed our phones, compared what little money we had, and mapped out an exit. But I hesitated. Which one of us dies first? First to die gets to go home. The other handles the mess. Funeral, loose ends, she typed back. We stared at each other's faces through our screens. Her message popped up first. I've had it worse. I'll go first. No way, I shot back. Rock, paper, scissors. I can't last another second here. Fine, she agreed. Scissors for her. Paper for me. She won. I stomped my foot. Fine. You die. I'll handle the funeral. She vanished for 2 days after that. My curiosity grew morbid, wondering what method she'd chosen. That evening, just as I was about to call, my phone lit up. Her name, Alice. Her voice came ragged, muffled by the roar of wind. Are you drunk? My chest tightened. Just a little, she hiccuped. Liquid courage. I'm about to do something big. I bolted upright. We planned for next Friday. That was the plan. We'd agreed. She'd go first in 7 days. I'd handle everything, then follow. I can't wait anymore. The wind tore her words to pieces. Today feels right. Today's my day. Her tone cracked, bleeding pain through the line. Alice, I only wanted to see Marcus one last time. 3 years I gave him. I know him so well I can read his desires from a single look. And I still get nothing back. I can't accept it. He's at dinner with her. Serafina. He won't even pick up my calls. 3 years, even a dog would have learned to wag its tail at me. But he still doesn't want me. That bastard. He won't even give me one call. Since it's Serafina's birthday, I'll make it my death day. A day he'll never forget. Her words came out in fragments, but the meaning was clear. She was leaving tonight, and she had called only for a last goodbye. Marcus had denied her even his voice. No, I rasped, fumbling for my keys as I bolted out the door. You can't. I'm not ready to lose you. Don't do this. Stella, where are you? Please, wait. Let me be with you. Alice. Her voice floated away, untethered. Jumping is messy. Find a mortician who'll make me beautiful again. And don't bury me. I'm afraid of the dark. Burn me. Scatter my ashes in the Viridian River. Make sure Marcus never finds me. Each word pierced me like a needle. I had watched her endure this torment for years. I forced my voice to stay steady. Whatever you want, Stella. I'll do it all. But you have to tell me where you are. Let me come to you. No, you'd be scared if you saw. Only the storm replied now, howling through the line. I ran until my lungs gave out, screaming her name, my body collapsing against the frozen pavement. A final, fragile whisper reached me through the phone. Alice, I'll be waiting for you at home. Crack. At the base of the apex tower, I saw her fall. She dropped from the 18th floor like a shattered bird, her body crumpling as a crimson bloom spread across the pristine pavement. Stella died in front of me. I dropped to my knees beside her, my hands shaking as I reached for her face, my sobs tearing through the stillness. You always loved being beautiful more than anything. How could you choose to leave like this? My mind kept telling me she wasn't really gone, that in our real world she still existed, that we'd meet again. But watching her broken body lying there, feeling the weight of that moment, cracked something inside me. I had thought I was strong enough. I had been wrong. My soul had been entwined with hers for far too long to untangle cleanly. For 3 endless years, she had been my anchor, the only reason I survived the endless cruelty of this world. At the crematorium, it was me who pushed her coffin into the flames. I watched as fire devoured the face, once bright with laughter and life. When the attendant handed me the small, heavy urn, the tears I'd been holding back finally poured out. "Stella, how could you be reduced to this?" As she had asked, I went to the river and released her ashes. The water snatched them away instantly, erasing her from this world completely. Just like that, she was gone. "Wait for me," I whispered to the rushing water. "I'll be there soon." Her phone buzzed inside my bag. I pulled it out to see a new message from Marcus. "The Grand Elysian Hotel. 8 o'clock tonight. Be there." A bitter laugh escaped me. Typical Marcus. Her feelings never counted for anything. She had been nothing more than an outlet for his moods, a toy to summon and discard at his convenience. When he needed her, she had to be there. When he didn't, he vanished. And for what? Because she loved him? Did that give him permission to grind her heart into dust? I powered off the phone without replying. He had lost his chance to say goodbye. He could choke on that regret forever. I sat at the riverside until dawn, too hollow to move. When I finally went home, the morning sunlight felt like ice on my skin. My exhaustion seeped into my bones. The system still demanded I play my role, the pitiful, lovesick girl. No matter how vicious Kevin became, I still had to rise at 6 a.m. to make his breakfast. The system whispered its same tired promise: endure the bitterness now, and the sweetness will come later. When you succeed, a man like Kevin will worship you. But 3 years had passed, and all I had tasted was bitterness. Stella's story had ended. Now it was my turn to leave. I picked up a kitchen knife and pressed its cold edge to my wrist. My hands trembled. I tried, stopped, tried again, and finally set it back down with a long, shaky breath. Kevin despised me. If I died under his roof, he'd probably feel nothing but disgust. He had said countless times that I wasn't worthy of the bright family name, that his brother and sister-in-law never should have adopted me, that they had raised a twisted creature who fell for her own guardian. He said I deserved abandonment, that I was nothing but an unwanted stray. But none of this was my fault. I had never asked to be abandoned, never asked to be a bright, never chosen any of it. Even this cursed system wasn't my choice. I collapsed onto my bed and, despite everything, drifted into sleep. In the dim half-light of my dreams, the system's mechanical voice echoed. "Alice Hayes, you have accumulated enough points. The exit portal is now open. Prepare to depart by tomorrow night." Finally, I thought, I'm going home. I woke abruptly and spent the rest of the night methodically stripping the villa of everything that belonged to me. I hauled every belonging out into the pounding rain, piling it by the curb for the trash collectors. The storm swept over me, erasing the last traces of my obsession with Kevin Bright. From this moment on, nothing of me would remain in that house. When I was done, I called a cab and headed to the Viridian River. On the way, I switched on Stella's phone. A stream of notifications flooded the screen, dozens of missed calls and messages, all from Marcus. "Stella, you're late. Pick up the phone. What's your problem now? Be at the hotel by 8. Don't make me repeat myself." Message after message, not a flicker of concern, only orders. I stared at the screen for a long moment before opening the audio file of Stella's final call to me. I forwarded it to Marcus. The instant the notification sent appeared, I hurled the phone into the river's black water. I wondered what his expression would be when he heard it. Would even the smallest crack of regret show on his face? Would he feel an echo of loss for what he'd done to her? It didn't matter. Stella would never see it, and I wasn't going to be around long enough to care. This was just a scripted world, after all. Who spares a thought for a non-player character after the game ends? The river wind cut through my coat like ice. I pulled it tighter and opened my own phone, typing out one last message to the world. The world is beautiful, but I won't be back for another life. I don't regret being a bright, but let me be free in death. Don't lock me in the family crypt. Grant me this one mercy. Alice Hayes, farewell. I posted it, then dialed Kevin's number. In my final moments, I wanted to say goodbye to the person who had once been the center of my world. But like Stella before me, no matter how many times I called, the line just rang and rang. A bitter laugh rose in my throat. I smothered the last flicker of hope. Switching my phone to video mode, I aimed the camera at myself. Wind whipped my tangled hair. My pale face stared back, resolute. "Kevin, it's been 15 years since the Brights took me in at 6. You promised to protect me, to be my hero. In middle school, when those boys cornered me, you fought them off. You said no one could bully your family. You took me to the amusement park. On the Ferris wheel, you sang to me at the top. Every scrap of joy I had, every flutter of my heart when I was young, it all came from you. My voice cracked. Kevin, you were the one who reached out to me first. You gave me reasons to dream. But the moment you realized I loved you, you turned away. You made me a stranger. You avoided me. You let them mock me. You called my love twisted, sick. But it wasn't twisted. I just loved you. That's all it was. I inhaled sharply, steadying myself. Kevin, I couldn't choose my family or where I came from, but I can choose to leave. From this moment on, Alice Hayes no longer exists. You're free now. I hit send, watching the 2-minute, 17-second video vanish into cyberspace. Relief washed over me. I dropped the phone onto the damp sand. Step by step, I walked into the frigid river. The water climbed past my chest, then my throat, until finally it swallowed me whole. On the shore, the abandoned phone lit up one last time. The caller ID read, Kevin. Kevin replayed the video again and again, his thumb hitting redial in a frantic rhythm. The number you have dialed is currently unavailable. Each repetition of the cold, automated voice felt like a blow to the chest. His grip on the phone tightened until his knuckles turned white. Alice Hayes. Still with these ridiculous suicide stunts? How absurd. He stabbed at another contact. His voice came out rough, nearly a growl. Get a search team to the coast. Find Alice Hayes. Bring her back to me. Now. The anger in his tone was his only weapon against the rising panic clawing at his ribs. When he tried to stand, his legs nearly buckled. Sir, where are we going? His driver asked softly, steadying him with a worried hand. Home. She had to come home. This was just another one of her dramatic episodes. She was too stubborn, too alive to end things this way. If he waited at the villa, she would return. She had to. Inside the villa, Serafina Vance sat curled on the couch, watching television. She looked up, startled, as he stormed through the door. Kevin, you're back early. She stepped forward to take his coat, but he seized her wrist instead, his grip like iron. His voice was raw and ragged. Where is Alice? Serafina cried out, tears springing to her eyes. Kevin, you're hurting me. He blinked, releasing her abruptly. Sorry. No patience left. No time for this. He turned and bolted up the stairs. Alice's room was spotless, cold, empty. Not a single trace of her remained. Every gift he had ever bought, every sign of her presence gone. Housekeeper, he barked. Where are Miss Hayes' belongings? The woman flinched, shocked by his tone. Miss Hayes said she didn't like them anymore, sir. She had everything cleared out. When? She's been clearing her things for days. The last of it was taken away this morning. The words punched the air from his lungs. Kevin sagged against the wall, his excuses and denials collapsing one by one. Dread churned in his stomach, heavy and black, threatening to swallow him whole. He fumbled for his phone, calling his assistant again. Have you found her? Not yet, sir, came the reply. Through the line, the howl of the wind bled in, cold enough to sink into his bones. Why does my chest feel like this? The video wasn't real, right? She had just gone out with her friend, hadn't she? Her friend. Of course. Stella Gordon. The two were inseparable. She had to be with Stella. Kevin straightened sharply, fingers trembling as he dialed Marcus Blackwood's number. Marcus. Where is Stella? Is she with Alice? Marcus's hand shook as he held his own phone. At Kevin's question, a thin gloss of moisture covered his eyes. Where was Stella? He didn't know. He sat in the reception area of the city police department, staring at the death certificate on the table before him. Stella Gordon. Date of death. Serafina's birthday. The same night, he had deliberately ignored her stream of calls. When the audio recording had first arrived, he'd brushed it off as another plea for attention. But when she never called back, a creeping panic had driven him here to file a missing person report, only to be told she wasn't missing at all. She was gone. Officially. Permanently. Marcus couldn't even name the emotion coursing through him. He only knew the recording of her final words had become a blade, every sentence slicing deeper into his chest. She's gone. Marcus managed at last, the two words draining what little strength he had left. He sat frozen, unaware of the tears streaking down his face. The news struck Kevin like a thunderclap. Gone echoed in his mind, a nightmare looping endlessly. How could this be? When had it happened? Why had he known nothing? A single image struck Kevin's mind. Alice returning home the day before, utterly shattered. She hadn't said where she'd been. Instead, she had asked quietly, "If one day I left this family, left you forever, would you be happy?" It had all been planned. With Stella gone, had Alice decided she couldn't go on either?
How could she?
Was Stella so vital to her that she would abandon everything, everyone, just to follow her into death? His phone buzzed. His assistant's voice cut through the chaos. "Sir, we've traced Miss Hayes. She entered the sea." Kevin found himself on that lonely stretch of beach, the same place she had sat, staring into the gray, endless waves. He was a hollow shell, pain thudding through his chest the only evidence he was still alive. He buried his face in his knees as silent tears rolled down. Memories cascaded. Alice at 6. "Uncle Kevin, my teacher gave me a gold star today. You can have it. You're even better than me." Alice at 8, holding a candy she had smuggled from school, now melted in her small hand. "Look, I saved it for you." Her face fell. "It's ruined. It's fine," he had told her. "I'll get you a new one, and we can share it." "Really? You're the best, Uncle Kevin. The best person in the whole world. The best person in the world, and yet, he had been the one to hurt her most." As she grew, Alice never hid her feelings for him. And his response? Repeatedly, he told her that her love was disgusting. That if it weren't for his brother's will, he would have sent her far away, anywhere, just to avoid seeing her. Now, he truly would never see her again. "You're cruel," he whispered to the restless waves. "You didn't even leave me a body to mourn." Back at home, Serafina rushed toward him. "Kevin, did you find Alice?" He looked at her properly for the first time in years and remembered how much Alice had despised her. Serafina had been brought into their lives intentionally, a reminder of boundaries he had to enforce. He had used her as a tool, knowing it would wound Alice. He couldn't even imagine how much pain that must have caused. Someone Alice loathed had no right in her home. "You're moving out tomorrow." Serafina had never seen him so cold.
What?
"Why, Kevin?" "It was always an act, Serafina. Time you remembered your place." He didn't wait for a reply. He ascended to Alice's room. And finally, truly looking, he saw the vast emptiness. Toiletries, favorite skincare, closets brimming with dresses, shelves of books, all gone. Even her photos had been removed from the frames. The room felt impersonal, like a rented suite. "How could you be so heartless?" he whispered, choking on the words. "You wouldn't even let me grieve you." Exhausted, he collapsed onto the bed. Tears soaked the pillow as sleep claimed him. In his dreams, he saw her. Alice. It was her, but it wasn't. In his dream, Alice appeared just as she had been in childhood, quiet, obedient, trailing after him, still calling him Uncle Kevin. She hid her feelings, swallowing her love while he openly courted Serafina. "I don't like you being with Serafina," she had once said. "And who am I supposed to be with? You? Isn't that disgusting, Alice?" In the dream, she cried, but he stayed cold. In this version of reality, she never met Stella. She stood alone, slowly breaking under Serafina's endless provocations. "I can't love you anymore." Those were the last words she spoke to him after the car crash. The crash that stole her legs. She had sworn Serafina orchestrated it, but he never believed her. Then the dream shifted. He saw the evidence, messages between Serafina and the driver. Proof he had refused to see. By then it was too late. He had already spent a long, comfortable life with Serafina, while Alice was sent abroad for treatment and died in a foreign hospital, forgotten. In this dream world, Stella too had been killed because of Serafina, her body left in some deserted field. The backdrop of the dream was a book. The original Alice and Stella's suffering was so great that some cosmic architect plucked two girls with their faces and names from another world to take their place. "You must live out their lives," a voice decreed.
No.
"This ending is too cruel." The two had protested, but no one listened. So they entered the world of the book, determined to follow its plot. But when Serafina returned to the country, fear gripped them. Fear of the same crippled, bloody fate. They chose instead to die on their own terms, hoping death would return them to their real world. Kevin jolted awake. Morning light streamed across the room. The dream clung to him like a second skin, more vivid than a memory. He sat there for a long time before splashing cold water on his face. "It's just a dream," he told himself. "I miss her too much. That's all." But that fragile reassurance shattered when Marcus Blackwood called. "We need to talk." At the cafe, both men startled at the sight of each other. Their reflections were uncanny, dark circles on shaven faces, stripped of their usual polished CEO image. "Did you find Alice?" Marcus asked. He had shut himself off from the world for days, unaware of any news. Grief passed over Kevin's face. "She's gone too." Marcus's eyes widened. He couldn't even offer condolences. After losing Stella, he was only now beginning to understand what his heart had lost. "I had a dream last night," Marcus said quietly. "In it, this world we're in, it's a book." Kevin froze. "Go on." Marcus recounted the strange, impossible story. It sounded absurd, like science fiction, but Kevin understood every word, because he'd dreamed the same thing. "You think I'm crazy?" Marcus asked. Kevin shook his head. "No." "I believe you. I dreamed it too." "The same dream?" Marcus whispered. "Did you hear it too? That voice." "The architect said we could find them." "I want to find her, Kevin. Don't you?" Those words struck Kevin like an echo of his own unspoken prayer. To find her. To see her again. Even just once. "Yes," Kevin said, his voice steadier than it had been in days. "Let's find them. In another life. My real life." I stared at the line of zeros glowing on my banking app, my pulse racing. The system hadn't lied. The payout was real. Overnight, Stella and I had become billionaires. I dabbed on some light makeup and went to the little riverside grill where Stella and I had agreed to meet. Back when we were broke, this place had been our haven. A couple of skewers, a few cheap beers, and hours of dreaming about a better future. We had promised that if we ever made it big, the first thing we'd do was renovate the orphanage where we grew up. "Alice." I spun around and saw Stella running toward me. I bolted to meet her, wrapping her in a fierce hug. My throat tightened and the tears came, loud, raw sobs that made people stop and stare. "You have no idea how miserable I was. You absolute jerk." I cried into her shoulder. "How could you leave me like that?" She just held me, patting my back with the same gentle rhythm she'd used in our childhood. Okay. Everyone's staring. You're going to ruin that cool new reputation of yours." It took a long time before I could stop crying. We ordered food, and after we ate, we walked along the riverbank, the sunset catching the water in streaks of gold. I told her everything, how I'd arranged her funeral, how I'd sent Marcus the recording. She only smiled, her expression soft. "It's all behind us now. We're never going to see them again. There's no point dragging it with us." She was right. The world of the novel was over. I smiled back. "I want to donate a huge portion of the money to the director. Let her rebuild the orphanage properly." "I was thinking the same thing," she said. We walked for hours, falling back into our old rhythm as if we'd never been apart. Then, just as we were about to head home, it happened. A voice, no, a presence, shivered through our minds. "Warning! Warning!" Male protagonists approaching this reality. Stella and I went rigid. Our blood felt like ice. We saw them again at the orphanage. The director was leading Kevin and Marcus out of her office, her face flushed with excitement. These were the anonymous donors she'd been raving about. "Stella, Alice," she said brightly. "These two gentlemen felt an instant connection with you both. They'd like to take you to dinner." I could see the unease flicker in her eyes. She would never push us, but the pressure was clear. We refused. I expected outrage, but it never came. Kevin's tone was unexpectedly soft. "Could I at least have your number then?" I started to decline, but then he added, "If my company launches future charity projects, I could make Starlight Orphanage our priority." I wasn't a saint. Even with $1 billion in the bank, I couldn't dismiss an offer like that. I gave him my number. Marcus tried a similar line with Stella. She cut him off smoothly. "Mr. Blackwood, I have a boyfriend. It wouldn't be appropriate to give another man my number." I caught the flicker of disbelief and pain in Marcus's eyes before he masked it with a polite nod. "I understand. Perhaps another time." Of course, Stella was lying. She was as single as I was. The only relationships either of us had ever experienced were the ones forced on us in that book. For the next few days, they were relentless. The tables had turned completely. One afternoon, leaving the orphanage, I spotted Kevin waiting for me again. I sighed, gave him a polite nod, and tried to walk past. He caught my arm. "Alice, we need to talk." I pressed my lips together, weighing whether to refuse. After a moment, I gave in. "All right." We met at a small cafe. The silence between us felt heavier than the smell of roasted coffee. He stared at me without speaking, and I quietly sipped my drink, waiting for him to begin. Finally, he cracked. "Alice, I'm so sorry. I stayed quiet. What could I even say? I know I messed up, truly I do. Just tell me what I can do to make things right, to have you back. There are no rewinds, I thought. The old Alice no longer existed. No one had ever offered her another chance. What crime had she committed other than giving her heart to someone who never loved her? I set my cup down with deliberate care. Mr. Bright, life doesn't hand out second chances for mistakes like yours. I took a slow breath. And for the record, I have never loved you. The person you think loved you wasn't me. I believed my words made everything plain. I wasn't sure if he'd fallen for who I used to be, or for the person I'd become now. But my own feelings had never been love, maybe dependency, maybe a sense of obligation, but never love. I watched him shrink into himself, gloom pressing down on his shoulders. I was about to say more when my phone rang. Stella's voice came through, high and frantic. Alice, get to the police station right now. That lunatic Marcus went berserk and attacked Leo. I shot to my feet, grabbing my bag. I'm sorry, Mr. Bright. Something urgent just came up. He reached out instinctively. Where are you going? I'll drive. I pulled my arm back and frowned. Don't trouble yourself. I'll manage. I practically ran to the police station. By the time I got Stella and a man named Leo Foster released, night had already settled in. I drove them both to Stella's apartment near the film set where she worked. Where do you want him? I asked, guiding the bruised man inside. Put him in the guest room, Stella barked. Leo leaned against the headboard, his white hoodie streaked with crimson like a splattered painting. His face was a mosaic of purples and blues. What happened? I asked as Stella dabbed at his injuries. That psycho Marcus saw Leo and me having dinner and went off, she fumed. Does he think he's still some untouchable CEO out of a novel? I called the cops on him the second it happened. And you? She shot at Leo. What possessed you to fight him? He's twice your size. If you just stayed down, I'd have made sure Marcus spent at least a week in holding. As she vented, I pieced the story together. I cleaned a gash on Leo's hand and handed the first aid kit to Stella. You take his face. The amount of blood on his shirt was troubling. She gave me an odd look, then glanced at Leo and raised a brow. His face is just bruised. No cuts. I blinked. Then whose blood is all over his shirt? It's not his. I didn't need to ask further to know the answer. Stella paused, then turned to me. Did Kevin find you? He did. When? Right before you called. We were at a cafe. Whatever you decide, Alice, I'm behind you, she said softly. We sat in silence for a few moments. What do they even want from us? I muttered, resting my chin in my palm. They want us to forgive them, to take them back. I stayed quiet, then something clicked. Stella, I asked, eyes lighting up, could you ever love Marcus? No, she said flatly, without even a flicker of hesitation. We don't belong to the same world. Forcing it will never make it real. I could act, I could mimic love, but if the feeling isn't there, it just isn't. Him chasing me here doesn't change that. I gave a small smile. I feel the same. My eyes drifted to Leo, who was lying on the bed, pretending to sleep. His lashes trembled, betraying him. Leo, this is the most I can offer you. What about him? I asked Stella quietly. Who is Leo to you? She turned to the window, her gaze lost somewhere among the city lights. For a long while, she said nothing. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft, like a breeze. He's different. I didn't understand what different meant, but I knew time would tell. Rising to my feet, I smiled faintly. I think we need to have one last conversation with them. Make everything absolutely clear. She nodded. I chose a bright, cloudless day and asked Kevin to meet me. You've always known, haven't you? I said, skipping any small talk, that I'm not the real Alice Hayes. His body went rigid. The quiet in the private room felt like a held breath. At last, he nodded. Then why keep chasing me? You know I don't love you. You've always known. That's not true. His voice cracked, desperate. Alice, you do love me. You promised you'd love me forever. I frowned. You're confusing me with the real Alice Hayes. We only share a face and a name. But you are her, his words trailed off. Even he didn't believe them. If you truly loved her, Kevin, don't you think this, chasing me now, is a betrayal of her memory? And what about Serafina? Are you trying to use me as a stand-in for the woman you lost? My voice hardened. Don't do that. It makes me lose respect for you. It makes your supposed love for her feel cheap. Kevin fell silent, collapsing back into his seat. That was what I needed, his silence. I leaned back and shut my eyes, unaware of the single tear slipping down his cheek. After that day, I never saw him again. Stella later told me she'd had a similar conversation with Marcus. Life drifted back into a quiet, peaceful rhythm. 3 years later, a text came from an unknown number. "Alice, I'm leaving. I hope you find happiness in your world." It was Kevin. "Is that Dr. Evans again?" Stella leaned over to peek at my phone, then blinked when she read the message. I thought they'd gone back ages ago. I managed a small, complicated smile. My feelings toward Kevin were hard to define, but letting go of him had never been hard. "So, when are you making things official with the good doctor?" Stella teased, nudging me. I glanced at Leo, sitting beside her, his whole world clearly orbiting around her, and laughed softly. "We'll see. I'm happy enough on my own. I have to leave now, too." The familiar buzz echoed in our minds. Stella and I exchanged a glance. "You're leaving?" I asked the system, silently. "Yes. I was meant to go when you returned, but the architect gave the male leads a deal. I was allowed to stay 3 extra years. Now that their time is over, mine is too. Can you tell us what the deal was?" Stella asked. Kevin Bright and Marcus Blackwood were given a secondary system. If they could win your hearts within 3 years, they would remain. If they failed, they'd be sent back with all memories erased. I wasn't sure whether that was cruel or merciful. For someone who values their memories, losing them is a punishment far worse than death. "What happens when they go back?" I asked, surprised to realize a piece of me still cared. "The architect will reset the novel's world. In the new timeline, the original Alice and Stella will be reborn with full memories of their past lives, a reward for their devotion and a punishment for the men. What happens after, no one knows. The story is now theirs." Hearing that, I smiled. It was fair. It was the best ending possible. "Goodbye, system," I said. "Goodbye, system," Stella echoed. "Goodbye, my hosts."